Yeah, both guys, really wanted to play, and just, we got to the game, and, Phil was somebody that, we weren't sure how it was going to go. It was questionable coming in. Carnell, we felt like he was going to be okay to play, but when he went through warm-ups, he just, he felt something there, and so we just wanted to be really careful. Could he have played? Yeah, probably, but we're going to just, rest him and make sure, which gave us an opportunity to, get some other guys in the game, which was great. That was kind of the idea. Watch some guys step up. So it was great to see Ian Moore play. I don't know what he graded out, but when you don't notice somebody, that's a good sign. And then, it was good to see, Max had 5 catches, Brandon had 3 catches, Bryson Rogers had 2 catches, and then it was good to see Milan come back with a catch in the second half as well. So, we're going to need all these guys, and it gave us an opportunity to get some guys in the game, but, we hopefully get them healed up and ready for next week.
What was your feeling overall to have the line play today? You had guys rotating in.
Yeah.
No Josh Padilla as the backup, so they'll play?
Yeah, overall, we'll have to see what the grades are, but, we wanted to run the ball, and in order to get the run game going, you got to give it a chance to get going. In this game, we ran the ball 43 times for 170 yards. I think it was efficient, and that was, for the most part, it was efficient. It wasn't great, but there were some good hits on there. Bo, I think, averaged 5.4, Isaiah 6.7, James was 3.2. So, we'll get on the film and continually work through that. I thought, for the protection was solid for the most part. I think there was a couple that, we didn't do well, but, I think, again, I've said this before, I think Barry, it does a good job, and I think they do a good job on defense. They do a good job across the board, but just, what they do, and the kids play hard, and so, they had a good plan coming in, and, it took a little while to get the run game going, but, the third down conversions were big. We were 9 of 13 on the third downs, and that kept the drives going, and kind of controlled the game that way. But the disappointing part was the long drive there. I think it was 17 plays, and we threw an interception there in the end zone, and then came back, had a drive, and only had 3 points. So he had a lot of plays there with only 3 points, and that's not ideal. But other than that, I thought there was a lot of good play. Again, are they all going to grade out a champion? Probably not. So we'll get back on the film and keep working to get better.
Patrick, talk about the interception. Are you at a point with Julian where when it comes to the sideline after a mistake like that, the conversation is less than maybe it was for his interceptions early in the year? How does that work?
I think he probably wants to go in the other direction, or maybe the other sideline when something like that happens. But he's got to learn from those, and he will. He will. He's a quick learner. So.
Stefan, you mentioned there with the running game that took a little bit of time to get going, and then it started moving a bit. You talked all year about wanting some explosive. Just having Bo, having him healthy. I know he kind of went through a little bit there. Just how much does that add? I know the first one came off the board, but it seemed like he was able to break a few there in the second half.
Yeah, and that's been an emphasis point, as you guys know. We've talked about that. I think the short yardage where there was a free guy in the hole and he brought his own blocker. I mean, that kind of reminded me of Quinshon last year. That was a good step for him in the right direction. So, I thought we got better today because I thought they had more opportunities to run. These are young backs that we got to continue to give them the opportunity to grow. And I think we'll get on the film and get better from this game.
Brian, I know you have a lot of respect for Barry Odom, and this was a Big Ten road game. It just felt, watching it, like you were managing risk and getting through it, and almost like with the personnel on both sides of the ball, it was so much rotation. Like it felt like a scrimmage. I know that that's probably an oversimplification, but did you have an idea that you guys could just do some things to work with an eye on the future today that you couldn't do in other games?
No. I mean, what we try to do is we try to, figure out how we're going to attack each game, what we're trying to get done. You could see that the emphasis in this game was to try to get these back some carries and establish the run and continue to work on that. And, when Carnell was unavailable, that certainly changed things quickly on, some of the things that we had. But it was still, I mean, for Jeremiah to still have the impact he did, not having Carnell on the other side of the ball, it just speaks volumes to what he does and just how impactful he got. I mean, it goes without saying. But, when you don't have Carnell out there, it is a little different, and so that does change things a little bit. But good to see Max get some plays, Brandon have an impact on the game, and then the running backs got to do their deal. So, we're we always want to score as many points as we can, but we also need to continue to improve in certain areas, and that was certainly an emphasis point in this game.
Joe Nugent?
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about Max, back here playing against his brother. Certainly he had a lot of catches in this game. What do you think?
Yeah, he was excited to come back and play. He's got a lot of respect for this place. He loves this place. A lot of the guys certainly he played with, and obviously brothers on the team. So I know it meant a lot to him to play in this game and get a win and play well. I thought he played well in the game.
Over here to the right, Bill Landis?
Right, we've asked you a lot about right guard. It seemed like Tegra had some of those inconsistencies, can creep back up a little bit today. Just what is your evaluation of that spot, and will Josh be anything long-term?
We don't think it'll be long-term. We're hoping to get him back next week. He didn't make the trip, so that was one that we knew he'd be out. And so we'll continue to look at it next week. But if he's not back next week, he should be back in 2 weeks. It's kind of one of those things. We're going to continue to look at it. I agree with you because I watched it and saw it. Then there were some other things that were good, but we need to grade out a champion here, and that's for everybody. So that's what the expectation is, and we'll continue to look at it. I don't know how many snaps Gabe got in there today, but or Ethan, but we're going to keep swinging at this thing and make sure that in the end, we get the best guys on the field.
Time for a couple more. We'll go to Dylan Davis.
I just want to ask about Gabe as well. Just what have you seen with his development up to this point to be ready to get on the field? I know you'll have to watch the film, but just initial reactions.
Well, he's got to play. He's got to play. For a lot of these guys, that's it. Like Mylan Graham. He didn't connect early in the game. We got him back. He made that catch, then took care of the ball. Like those are the things you got to play through. It's the same thing with the running backs. It's somebody like Gabe, who's now, and Ian Moore, who have earned the opportunity in practice every day, so we know they can do it. But then they got to go do it in the game. It was good to see Jelani Thurman make some catches late in the game. Like we got to play through some of those things, and they're going to make mistakes early. It's just kind of how it goes, and you have to play through those mistakes. And if you respond the right way, then that's good. We can count on you here late in the season, and we're going to need those guys. So it was good to see some of those guys respond and play through those things, and a lot of football to be played. But Gabe, in particular, to answer your question, first off, he has the size, he has the athleticism, he has the intelligence. Maybe doesn't have the experience, but we think he has a pretty high ceiling. So, we want to continue to give him more opportunity that he deserves.
Jaden was 2 for 2 on field goals over 40 yards.
Yeah.
How big is that for
Right.
not only for his confidence, but for you guys to set him out there and that further than you guys have seen it this year?
Right. So in the first half, we get the turnover, we score. That was great. And then defense, we try to win the middle 8. Defense, does a good job, gets a stop. We call timeouts. Get the 3 and out. We get the ball and then move it down the field and kick the field goal. Like that was kind of the really first 2-minute drill we had to work in a game, which is one of those other things we wanted to make sure that we improve on. And I thought that was well done. Guys had pretty good awareness. We were getting out of bounds. Julian was, the protection was good. Like all that was done well. But then put Jaden in that spot. Like, come on, man, we got to make this field goal. He did. He stepped up. Protection was good, and he pounded it. So that was great for him, and it's going to be important for his confidence to know that we're going to need those as we move forward.
Last question, Dave Holmes.
I know back in August you said you weren't sure of the identity of this team. It was way too early. We're 75% of the way done regular season. How would you sum up this version of the Buckeyes as opposed to the team before?
Yeah, business-like. They're growing up every day. Like I've said before, I think they're edgy. They're competitive. They've bought into the system. They care about each other. I think they have an edge to them. Like I said, I think that's probably the biggest thing. But business-like. They know what they want to get done. They have perspective. They've seen it. They know what it's supposed to look like. And so now we got to get back to work this week in practice and continue to do it again next week against UCLA.